All right, ready, right?
Yeah, here we are.
It may be hard to believe that small choices you make on a daily basis, such as how you move around the city, what you eat, where you travel to on holidays, can actually have significant impact on global environmental issues. Camilo is a first semester student at GSIS, and he is here today to show us the environmental impact of our daily choices. Please join me in welcome Camilo.
So good morning, and thank you everyone for being here. Um, Today I want to show you how everyday decision we make um, impacts the environment, and I want to show you a little bit of how we can switch, reduce our footprint. So to start with, um, I would like to explain briefly what does the carbon footprint means. And carbon footprint is the total amount of greenhouses that are generated by our actions. So all of us like have a footprint behind us, and these include carbon dioxide and methane and any other uh, contaminating gases. Just to give you an idea, the average of the carbon footprint for a person in the United States is 16 tons, and that's the one of the highest rate in the world. The global average is closer to 4 tons per person, and to have the best chance of avoiding the 2 degrees rise in the global temperatures, which is the Paris Climate Agreement that the world is trying to reach, we will need to reduce our footprint per year to 2 tons. So depending on the way you live and the country you're living in, you might have to do some changes if you actually want to contribute to the global temperature not rising. And this is for me it's quite interesting because many of us we check on what the governments are doing. We actually in our classes we also see and study the cases how the countries are fulfilling with the Paris Agreement, but sometimes we don't check on ourselves, and it might have a difference. So this here in the graphic, some of the personal choices and how it does impact in the climate change. So you can see here like some low impact actions, for example, to upgrade your light bulbs. Some moderate impact, like instead of using your dry machine, you hang out your clothes, you recycle, not using the hot water to wash your clothes. If you replace your car with a hybrid car, it might also contribute. And I will focus my presentation here in the high impact um, decisions to contribute to the climate change. Um, as you see, eating a plant-based diet will contribute. Switching to electric car might also contribute. That actually depends on how the energy is produced in the country or state you are living, city, because electric cars might not be that beneficial to the environmental if the electricity you are using um, to charge your car it comes from fossil fuels as well. So that might vary, and you might have a different opinion on that. But depending on where you are, it might have like impact. And if you avoid one round trip transatlantic flight per year, you might also have a huge impact. And living car free, of course, it will be better than any other option, like hybrid or electric car. And the best thing you can do, and also depending on the country you live in, is to have one few child or kid. That's because, of course, the CO2 emissions that an additional person will accumulate in its own life. So let's start by the one of the most effective way to reduce your carbon footprint, and it's the way we move around. Um, the way we move around is important because since November 2017, the carbon emission from transportation surpassed the emission from electricity generation. So it became the top source of greenhouses gases emissions. Um, Going carless for a year could save up to 2.6 tons of carbon, and reducing the amount of flights, especially the long and super long flights like transatlantic, as we saw, it can also have a significantly reduce on your carbon footprint. Um, some recommendations are walk whenever you possibly can, when the weather is okay and you have time. Taking a walk it will be the best way to contribute to the environment. If you have a bicycle, that would be great as well. Try to use the public transportation. Buses are okay. Taxis might be also okay, because in the sense like you are using already a car that is on the street, is an effective way also to share the carbon footprint. And if you still want to drive your own car, the recommendation then will be to share it with your friends and coworker. Try to adjust your schedule so uh, you can drive with some colleagues or to work, etc. Um, let's let's see, for example, when you decide to still to fly on vacation, when we were able to, no COVID area. So you there are so many places we want to travel. Of course, we always want to take a fly and see different cultures. But if you can just avoid that and travel locally within your country, or now that we are in Korea, if you can travel within Korea, that will save a lot of CO2 emissions. And where do you stay also makes the difference. If you go camping, uh, definitely will be so much better instead of going to the 5-star resort or hotel. Also mind the kind of hotel like eco lodges, that they mind the impact on the environment, and they they contribute to the surrounding wildlife conservation. Um, if Even though maybe you will want to stay in the city, then you might consider staying in an Airbnb instead of a hotel again. Um, Hotels basically are very like inefficient complex with especially for the hot water or the water you use, etc. So if you can just avoid hotels, that will significantly also help you. Um, so as I say, the least sustainable mode of travel is usually international flight. So if you definitely cannot avoid, some airlines, they offer the option that you pay extra, and they will take an action to reduce the carbon emission, or to like to compensate the emissions in a way. So some airlines, when you buy the ticket, it might sound stupid to pay more, but actually it's an option there. They offer you, like they calculate you how much carbon you will be emitted by your travel, and they will compensate in a way. It can be like planting a tree or doing other action depending on the airline. So the other very effective way to reduce your carbon footprint, it's is the way we eat. Um, in general, and I will talk about this a little bit more in detail. Like the less meat you eat, it will be greater for the environment. The less you waste as well, and not also like what you eat, or also where it comes from. It will be always better to buy local and organic instead of imported products. This is because, of course, of the transportation of the product that is generating emission as well. So let's see why the the food is important. So here you can see like the global greenhouse gas emissions. Um, so from all the emissions, the 26% of those emissions come from food. And as I told you, not only the protein you're eating or whatever you're eating, but also the supply chain and the production itself, how they use the land. It is important. So when you when you when you buying your stuff, you really need to check more into the price and the quality, and you need to, like, if you want to reduce your carbon footprint, you need to start looking into some other stuff, like where is it coming from, which kind of packages are they using. I was quite impressed when I came to Korea to see the amount of package that, or the way they pack the products in the supermarket. Like uh, you want to buy one banana or two bananas, and they have to pack it in a plastic bag, which is quite useless. You just take the two bananas home and you just throw immediately the banana, and you can keep the banana without the plastic bag, like, perfectly. So these kind of things, it might. So if you can avoid buying the super wrap products in here, it will make a difference. Of course, when you come to the supermarket, bringing your own reusable bags will make also a difference. This is an example. This is more like focus in the American, but like the the water footprint on what we eat, or Americans eat, actually. Uh, a breakfast will basically consume on 496 liters of water. That's like enough water to fill up to 6 bathtubs. Just eating the cereal with the milk and one chicken egg. The lunch, if you go for a burger, you will your water footprint will be of 2,932 liters of water, which is a huge amount of water, 36 bathtubs. And dinner, if you go for a beef steak and some corn and potato, you will spend enough water to fill up 48 bathtubs. So I was, well, before doing the research, I was like considering, like thinking what can we do to reduce our water footprint. And I thought like taking a short shower will helpful, but actually when you see the amount of here, it doesn't make the difference. If you take like 1 hour shower, it won't have the same impact as eating less meat. So here you can see how much are the greenhouse gas emissions per 100 gram of protein. So it means to produce 100 grams of beef, the emissions of producing that 100 grams will be almost 50 grams, kilograms of it. So as you can see, the beef are like really they really have an impact in the warming and the emissions. The less you go, I mean, the more you can avoid meat, then you have different options, more sustainable. I'm not trying to convince you to become vegan or vegetarian, but if you can at least reduce your beef intake once per year, once per week or 2 times, and just change it for any sources of proteins. Like for example, pig meat is way much uh, environmentally friendly, and fish, of course, is lower. Then if you are able, if you're okay to replace your beef once or 2 times per week for tofu or any other kind of vegetarian or vegan proteins, that will save a lot of emissions. Let me move forward. So at home, there are a couple of things like we can also do. Um, wait. Okay. So basically, the heat, light, and appliances are the consumers of electricity in our place. So 25% of our energy is used to heat our space. 30% is used for heat the water, and 11% is used for cooling on the remainder of the appliance. So winter is coming, and you might want to start the heater. Of course, when you are home, you don't want to freeze, but there is a way probably that you can just have a look in the temperature, not to overheating and then switching off, and then overheating and switching off, because that's the less efficient way to keep it. So if you can have like a smart thermostat, or if it's too expensive to buy, just not, even if you are very cold, don't put the maximum temperature on just it will hit on the same period of time, but we tend to have to go and put the maximum just because we think it's going to be faster, but no, and then we have to reduce again because we are hot. So just try to avoid that. um, if same for the water heater, we tend to set up the water heater in the maximum, and then mixing the very hot water with the cold water to make it comfortable for our shower. So if your water heater is on your control and you can set up in the like again in the medium temperature, that will be great. um, of course, when you are not using lights and appliances, just switch it off. If you go for a laptop instead of a desktop computer, you will save energy as well. because basically of the battery it can be used. Um, Replace lights. That sounds like something that we don't need to do here in Korea because most of them they are already. But in some countries, they are still using the very inefficient lights. You can just go also and set up your fridge and freezer because again we normally we set up the freezer in the very low temperature that we don't actually need to conserve our food. If you have an old fridge and you can replace it, that will be very useful. And also when you want to use the washing machine, you can use natural cleaning products or just to clean home, like instead of using the regular cleaning products, if you can use some natural products like vinegar, um, is also good for to reduce our carbon footprint. What do you buy? How do you buy it? It makes difference also. Not only thinking about when you go shopping, but also if like you are planning to buy a new car, let's say, uh, you really want to mind the efficiency. Like not nowadays in everywhere, most everywhere in the world, the cars as same as the big appliances like fridge, washing machine comes to the energy efficiency indicator. I don't know if you have seen like this kind of sticker that it actually indicates you how much energy the car or the appliance is using. So you might be tempted to get the cheaper, even if it's less efficient, but thinking also in the long term and into the environment, please mind the energy efficiency of what you are getting. Um, Buying less, and this is uh, buying less clothes. This is something quite hard to do these days because the fashion trend it moves fast, and we always want to get some new stuff that at the end we don't use much. So according to the World Resources Institute, 20 items of clothing are manufactured per person per year. So that's like it's huge amount of clothes, and they want the big stores, they want to sell that quickly, cheaply, and unsustainable. So the less clothes you buy per year, of course, the better for the environment. And what is sometimes it's better is instead of buying very cheap clothes, you better go for higher quality that it will last you more. Like if you're planning to get a jacket for the winter, just don't go for the cheapest. Just try to get something with a good quality that you might use for a couple of years instead of having something cheap that you might have to throw the next year and get another one. um, as I already mentioned, just bringing the reusable bag to the store, skip the package, like the unnecessary packing in the product. And the some shops I haven't seen here, but some shops they offer the carbon offsets, like I mentioned in the airlines, that you can just pay additional amount to make your product like carbon free. Um, okay, no, that's what I prepare for you. I hope this is useful, and I can take your questions now.
Thank you so much, Camila. It was really interesting. It is really hot topic now. I like it the way you presented it and mentioned our daily life routine that leads to this carbon, how you called carbon footsteps increasing. Yeah, and your mic is mute.
No, sorry, I say carbon footprint.
Yeah, and I did really love that you mentioned electric cars because you mentioned that it's like controversial, not really prove it that they're useful to for sustainable development. Because I check it myself. At one point, I was really curious about them, and I check it and found out that average one car consume about 7,500 kilowatt hours per year, and per one person in United States, it is 10,000 kilowatt hours per year. So it's almost the same as one person. So actually, it is additional load for electricity. And in countries, as you said, if they struggle with electric power, it's like burdensome for them. So thank you so much for mentioning that. And I would love really hear the statistics in China because you mentioned USA, and as we know, US is also like consumption-driven countries, one of them, and the second, not second, I think the first of them is China, and I would love to hear like some data from China. So overall, I really like it. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I will check on the China. This is different to the country global emission in total. This is per person, how much
Oh.
it's the carbon
But
footprint.
I will not be surprised if they're not measuring that in China because most of the
Yeah,
times they try to hide this kind of
but I
information.
will I will check that, and if I find it, I will share with you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like Anash said, it's really hot topic. And also, like you reflect me the Pacha Kucha. I think Ida knows about that. I talk about food waste as well, and you details like you know little things on how we make our decisions and what we consume every day. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, well
Okay.
done.
Well, thank you, Camila. It was really informative. I just wanted to say it made me think about a lot of stuff we do every day, but we really don't think about it because some of them I haven't really thought that it could influence the like environment in the way that I didn't really thought about it before. And I'm thankful for you that you made it possible for us to think about that. And yes, it was really nice and really informative, really interesting. Again, your presentations are always interesting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Camilo. Yeah,
Ida, sorry you didn't
and
have
really
time.
informative. Yeah, it's really surprised me because I also never thought about the significant impact of our daily